Morning, gentlemen. Welcome back to the live stream. Today we are talking about becoming aware. We've been talking in the last couple of videos about waking up from the dream. That was the last video, waking up from the dream. And then before that was telling ourselves stories, realizing that we are creating our own suffering. So, for those who don't know, I'm Charlie McKeever, one of the co-founders of Mentoring Men and also a Happy Man coach over at happymancoaching.com. And these live sessions, these live videos are just a continuing conversation between you and I, and eventually we're going to have some of the mentors on the channel. We're going to have some of the coaches. We'll hopefully have some of the men from the community who feel comfortable enough to be on camera and tell their story. And then we're also going to have other experts, let's just say, other guests on the show who can shed some light on all of this that we're doing, this thing called life, this thing that we're going through. Give us some perspective, because that's what we need. Because either something outside of us changes or something inside of us changes. That's the only way that we experience change. We either experience divorce or a layoff or death or birth or life, or something inside of us changes, and all of those things remain the same, but we see things differently. We experience them differently because our thoughts about them are different. Our thoughts about ourselves are different. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about becoming aware of our thoughts. In the last video, we talked about waking up from the dream. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it. Watch the previous two videos. You'll catch up on the conversation. But for this video, all you need to know is that you really don't want anyone controlling your life but you, right? I think that's a fair statement. Most of the time, we don't want our boss. We don't want friends. We don't want family members. We don't want our wife. We don't want our kids. We don't want anyone running our life. We don't really want anyone telling us what to do. And what we don't understand, what we don't realize, what we are becoming aware of, what we become aware of, is that sometimes there's things that we don't know. We don't know that we don't know. And that kind of makes it hard to work on it. It makes it hard to address it. It makes it hard to affect any kind of change on it because we don't know that we don't know. And what we don't know, in this case, to make it more concrete and less abstract, is that we have beliefs. We have beliefs about ourselves. We have beliefs about how things are supposed to go. We have beliefs about how life is supposed to go. We have beliefs about how our relationship, our marriage is supposed to go. We have beliefs about who we think we are and who we think our spouse is and who we think we are together. And those beliefs drive our feelings, which drive our behavior, which drives the results that we get and shapes the experiences that we have. And it also shapes our experience of life based on our perspective, right? If we think something is supposed to happen and it's not happening, then something's wrong. If we don't think that same thing is supposed to be happening and it doesn't happen, then we don't think anything about it at all, right? We don't have any kind of feelings about it at all. So we want to become aware of what it is that we think. We want to become aware of what we believe. And not just the conscious stuff, right? The upfront conscious stuff like being kind or fairness or any sort of like surface level operating instruction that we have for ourselves, right? Like we're going to put on pants every day. When I go out, I'm going to put on pants. I may put on short pants. I may put on long pants. But I'm going to put on pants when I go out in public, right? That's a belief. That's an operating instruction, right? We hold to that, hopefully most of the time. But we also have silent beliefs. we also have hidden beliefs. We also have, I call this the elevator music of the mind, right? When you step on an elevator, you're having a conversation with somebody, maybe you're in thought about something, you're going someplace, you're thinking about a meeting that you're going to attend. When you get on the elevator, you don't really think about the music's in the background, and because it's always there. It's just part of riding the elevator. But every so often you go, is that Metallica in Muzak? That's weird. And I kind of like it. And you become aware of something. You become aware of the music in the background. You start listening. You start paying attention to it. You start looking for it. And this is what it's like when we have these hidden beliefs. We have this desire to have control over our life, to make decisions for ourselves, to be intentional, to be conscious, to be free. And yet, there's a silent undercurrent of friction within us where we have competing thoughts, where we have conflicting thoughts, where we have thoughts that we're not fully aware of. We don't really know where they came from. We don't really acknowledge how they affect us, but we are affected by them all the time. Like I said, our thoughts drive our feelings, drive our behaviors, drive the results that we get. So we, in fact, are being pushed around many times by our thoughts, by our hidden beliefs, by our silent operating instructions. And it's not until we become aware of those things, that we are able to then address them, that we are then able to have thoughts about them. Because see, you're not your thoughts. You are not your brain. You're not your body. You're not your thoughts. You know, when your brain comes up with a thought and it injects it into the stream, kind of like the feed on Facebook, the algorithm sort of says, "Here, how about this?" You can have thoughts about it, right? You don't have to automatically accept it. You don't have to automatically react to it. You can have thoughts about it. You can have thoughts about your thoughts. And then you can say, well, is that really what I believe? And is that really what I want to continue thinking and uh, acting on? Is that really me, right? Is that really part of my values as a person, as a man? Is that really how I want to live? Is that really what I want to experience? You get to have thoughts about all of that, and you get to decide, because like we said in the first video, you're not powerless, right? You're not powerless. And we have to wake up from the dream, and we have to become aware of our beliefs. And the more we become aware of our beliefs, the more we become a creator of what we want in our life, because that clarity helps us to make decisions. It helps us to know what we should do next. And so many times in life, we're afraid. We're afraid of making mistakes. We're afraid of what people are going to think. We're afraid of missing out. There's all of these fears that crop up, and they're all based on a feeling of not being safe, of not being secure, of not being okay. And when we don't truly know our own mind, when we don't know our beliefs, when we don't know our thoughts about things, when we're not real clear about our desires, when we're not real clear about what we want, where we're going, who we want to be, that's when things get sideways. That's when we feel the most vulnerable. That's when things feel the most scary. So this is what we do inside of Mentoring Men. We help men get clear. We help them see their blind spots. We help walk with them and echo back to them and mirror back to them. This is what I do with men on coaching calls. Listen to them. I ask questions. I help them to hear themselves for the first time, maybe ever. And through that process, they are able to surface their own answers, because it's not about me living your life. It's not about the men in the community living your life. It's not about anyone outside of you living your own life. It's about you knowing your own mind. And so that's what happens when we become aware of what we believe. We get to question it. We get to make choices about it. And And that produces the clarity that we need to make decisions. And then the world becomes a whole lot less scary because we create our own certainty and we create in our life what we want. We stop being dependent on everyone else to give it to us. We stop feeling like nobody cares about us because we care about us. And we're back in the driver's seat of our life. So I want to encourage you today to join Mentoring Men. There's going to be a link in the description if there isn't already. There's going to be a link in the description. Go check that out. Go check out the community. You can always reach out to me if you want to have a private one-on-one conversation. And let's figure out what elevator music is playing in your mind. Let's bring that stuff to the surface so you can decide what it is that you want to do instead of letting your thoughts drive your feelings, drive your reactions, and produce results that you don't want. Let's get you back in the driver's seat. Let's get you to a place where you can decide for yourself how you want to live. All right, brother, have a great day. I hope this video has helped you. If it has, go ahead and do all the things that you know how to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, all of that stuff. And leave a comment. Leave a comment about what it is that you're struggling with, what it is that is bothering you. Let's bring those things to the surface. Sometimes it's just as easy as someone saying, "Is that true? What makes you say that? What would be the opposite of that? If you couldn't make a mistake, what would you do?" Sometimes it's that simple. And then clarity comes. All right, brother. Have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.